There's an unsurprisingly unhinged clip of Jasmine Crockett screaming in Congress today, and of course blaming everything on the white man. And though I've seen the 1-minute clip making the rounds, I wanted to include the full context of what she said because it's even more insane than just the clip that went viral.
In finance, we always promote this idea of diversity. If you know anything about a portfolio, the one thing that you want to do is make sure that it's as diverse as possible, because at times certain stocks will perform better than others, and they will exemplify various strengths and weaknesses. And together, a diverse portfolio is usually what any good finance person would promote.
Yes, it is a good idea to diversify a financial portfolio to reduce your downside risk. You invest in a multitude of different companies in different sectors, so if one of those sectors does experience some type of downturn, like, for example, an entire soybean crop gets eliminated by a storm or something, that you don't lose your whole portfolio. So far, so good, Jasmine.
It wouldn't promote that you solely invest in vanilla wafers, believing that that is going to be the strongest portfolio, but instead they may want to add some chocolate cake and some Twinkies into the mix to make sure that we have the best portfolio, because there will be different preferences by different people, and again, there will be different strengths.
Yeah, I guess. First, that's a horrible example, objectively. A diverse portfolio. I don't know of any portfolio of Twinkies and chocolate cake. What are you talking about? 1,000 different things that would have made more sense there, but all right. Just a heads up, in this example, I'm a vanilla wafer and she's a chocolate cake. Even if you were going to use an individual food product for your example, 2 pastry dessert items, it's like the most similar thing. You could have said oranges and corn. They're literally anything else, but okay.
But as I sit here and I think about what we say and what I'm hearing as it relates to diversity when it comes to anything outside of making money, and to be clear, we are losing GDP every time we try to push back on this idea of diversity, because all of us bring something different to the table.
What? How could you possibly say that we are losing a GDP by pushing back on the idea of diversity? How could you even measure that? You see, that's the beautiful thing about capitalism, is that the interests of the corporations, the businesses, the economy as a whole, even down to the employees, their interests are all aligned. Everybody wants to produce the most. So to suggest that forcing diversity on a corporation, for example, to meet some type of arbitrary quota to right some systemic wrongs of hundreds of years ago completely flies in the face of all logic and reason about what capitalism is. The good rises to the top, naturally, because everybody wants to output the most. And if some company was to reject diversity that would output more, then some other company could scoop up that supposed diversity and they would produce and output more, and they would take more market share. The business doesn't care what you look like or what box you fit in. They care about whether or not you can output and produce the most. If a supposedly diverse person was the best for the job, they would get the job. And if somebody was so bigoted that they just decided not to hire that person specifically because of it, some other company would scoop them up and use their production. It's completely counter to everything they're trying to do.
You consistently said over and over the word oppression, and every time that you said it, it was almost as if I was hearing nails on a chalkboard, because it seems like you don't understand the definition of oppression. And I'd ask you to just refer to Google to help you out. Oppression is the prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control. That is the definition of oppression. And so as I sit here as a Black woman who practiced civil rights,
oh God, here we go.
Let me tell you, the reason that my colleagues wanted to make sure you understood the same Black history that your side of the aisle wants to delete out of classrooms is because you can then misuse words like oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man in this country.
Oh my God, insufferable victim demon. The white man, if I yell it sassy. There's been plenty of oppression for all groups, dog. Let's let her finish.
You tell me which white men were dragged out of their homes. You tell me which one of them got dragged all the way across an ocean and told that you were going to go and work We are going to steal your wives.
There's been plenty of oppression of white men in America and around the entire world. There was over 1 million white European slaves. There were white slaves even in the United States. And you know what else? There were some black slave owners in the United States. The Irish, the Italians, they were oppressed at different times in American history. And what about the Asian Americans and the Chinese? What about the Chinese internment camps in the United States? Was that not oppression? Are they not white?
We are going to rape your wives. That didn't happen. That is oppression. We didn't ask to be here.
Yo, who exactly is we? Jasmine Crockett was born in St. Louis, Missouri in 1981. What do you mean we? Also, plenty of black people are from Jamaica and Haiti. So who exactly is we? My family came here from Italy in the 1920s. Am I the white man?
We not the same migrants that y'all constantly come up against. We didn't run away from home. We were stolen.
Again, who exactly is we? To use myself, Italian Americans faced a ton of discrimination in the United States around World War I, World War II. But because my skin is lighter than yours, I'm the white. And you, who was born in Missouri in the 80s, is not? You're we? Does this just carry in perpetuity until the end of time and become the excuse for everything ever?
So yeah, we are going to sit here and be offended when you want to sit here and act like, and don't let it escape you.
Why are you yelling? What are you even talking about?
That it is white men on this side of the aisle telling us, people of color on this side of the aisle, that y'all are the ones being oppressed.
That happens to actually be true. Because your supposed solution is to fight supposed oppression with oppression. Your solution is to try to tip the scale in the other way by doing the bad thing.
That y'all are the ones that are being harmed. That's not the definition of oppression. You tell me the prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment that you've had, and we can have a conversation.
Because you've blamed every unequal outcome based on immutable characteristics, and your solution to that is to take those exact same immutable characteristics and push it in the other direction. Meaning that people that don't look or fit into a certain box, an oppression Olympics box, well, they don't get into that college or they don't get that job now, to somehow make it equal to right all of these supposed wrongs, which it doesn't do.
White men represent 30% of the population, but 62% of office holders. These are the issues that we are constantly looking at and recognizing and trying to say, is this just?
How many black women have tried to run for Congress? Ben Carson tried to run for president, but black people and white people voted for somebody else. Is that because he's black? Is that why the black people didn't vote for Ben Carson? This is garbage logic. And squealing it and screaming it and pretending that you're a victim is insane. You're unhinged, dog, and you shouldn't even be in there. You shouldn't be elected yourself. And that's not because you're a woman, and it's not because you're black, it's because you're clueless.